Good evening, I'm Jackie Spade. The Land Transport Authority says incidences such as the one where a bus rolled down Edinburgh Drive in Suva last night can be avoided. LTA spokesman Alfred Williame says the awareness and training on public transport safety-related issues must be taken seriously by public service transport providers. Mikalonga reports.
This bus was packed with passengers when it experienced mechanical problems on the hill just before the flat leading up to the Samambula intersection last night. It rolled downhill and ended up in the drain.
I was coming up Edinburgh Drive and I changed my vehicle from third gear to second gear. And when suddenly the power loss is slowly, so I tried to put it in first gear and I couldn't put it into first gear.
LTA spokesman Alfred Williame says a lot of awareness and trainings have been conducted for bus owners and drivers, and for accidents like this to occur is a concern. Permanan says as driver, the life of his passengers were paramount and his priority was to keep them safe.
I had only one option to save the cliff, so I had to turn to the right.
Passengers said they are lucky to be alive.
I'm very fortunate today to be alive, and I just want to thank the Almighty.
A man is admitted at the CWM hospital from injuries to his shoulders suffered after jumping off the rolling bus. Other passengers weren't injured. As Naya Transport owner Kunjan Naya says, the company will compensate any passenger who may have been injured in the accident. The bus is at the Land Transport Authority depot. The LTA and police are investigating. Last night's incident is another wake-up call to vehicle owners that any slight defect in your vehicle can cause serious or even fatal injuries. Mikalonga, FBC News.
A rental car company has spoken out against people hiring out private vehicles, undercutting licensed businesses. Suva Car Rentals claims it's losing business and the legal businesses are going unchecked. Ritika Pratap reports.
This rental company claims the cost of doing business has gone up because they are losing customers to cheaper but illegal operators. Mohammed Sarim says they have to abide by the laws, while private vehicle owners are getting away scot-free.
They have their vehicles insured. They go through a lot of costs and requirements to come up to that standard where we get certified by LTA to issue those vehicles. And these private vehicles, they just come out from nowhere, and these owners are issuing their vehicles for rentals.
Sarim has justified the high charges for licensed rentals, saying it's based on a competitive market.
With them, they have no cost associated to it. We pay all the normal taxes. We pay the service turnover tax that is required, the sales tax that is required 5%, whereas they don't pay anything.
The company claims that illegal operation is rife in the Central Division because they don't take any security deposit. Rental companies are now concerned that they will lose out on business as we are approaching festive season and demand for rentals are normally high. Rental companies are now trying to band together to make their concerns heard.
We are trying to get this association, which we believe is existing but is not functioning, the Rental Car Dealers Association, which we want to revive.
The LTA told FBC News they've received complaints on the issue and enforcement officers are tracking down these private vehicles. Ritika Pratap, FBC News.
Airports Fiji Limited says they have learnt important lessons from the Lambasa runway saga. Pacific Sun has resumed flights to Waingele Airport after a delay of almost 2 months due to what it called was safety issues. Christopher Chand reports.
AFL Chief Executive Tony Golin says additional work on the Lambasa runway to meet Pacific Sun safety standards came from within its budget.
Within the budget that was set, we've been able to put another layer or another very thin seal over the runway just to make sure it stabilises any possibility of small stones becoming loose.
The issue over the runway had raised many questions. AFL says they are glad the problem has been solved.
How do we do it better next time? And certainly from AFL's point of view, we want to cater for all the carriers at airports like Lambasa, and if the standard of one carrier is higher, for their own, good reasons, then we need to be more focused into how do we respond to that higher standard then.
Pacific Sun had said they were incurring a substantial loss when services were suspended. However, they didn't offer to make any comment when FBC News asked for details on how much loss they had made and why they didn't try to fly their smaller twin auto aircraft to Lambasa to maintain services. Pacific Sun says they will refer our questions to the Ministry of Civil Aviation. Christopher Chand, FBC News.
The Western Division still has a long way to go in the fight to reduce crime. The Fiji Police Force has raised the issue, saying that the West, while the biggest contributor to the economy, is also a red zone so far as crime levels are concerned. Christopher Chand again.
While other divisions have been declared relatively safe from crimes, the same can't be said for the West.
The Western Division has a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do that we can qualify it to be safe. But let me tell you today, all our efforts in the police force is directed towards the West to make sure that you be a safe region.
The Commissioner says people, not just police officers, can't afford to sleep on their jobs. Children should be monitored to keep them away from drugs and other criminal activities.
Look at the car down in Suva just the other day, which we heard this morning, $20,000 that was in the lock of the car, parked there, unlocked. 4 young fellows walked in, picked up $20,000. Luckily, within 45 minutes, we were able to catch them in the central Suva. They were starting their shopping.
Nevalurua says the formation of a new crime prevention committee, such as this one in Nandi, goes a long way.
The second part of the good fight is this. We cannot fight crime, okay? We cannot defeat crime if we do not get in together and work together as a team. We cannot fight crime.
The challenge for the force is to turn the red spots signifying problems for the force into safe zones. Christopher Chand, FBC News.